Hello everyone, my name is Michael SK and welcome back to Umineko When They Cry. We have some new rules that have been thrown into the game here, and I think we're about to summarize them. But we are now bringing in, well, we have the red truths from Beatrice, but we're also bringing in blue truths. Yeah, we get a color now. Fantastic. Basically, the rules have gotten a little bit more on the strict side, to where I think we have to be able to explain everything, like basically cover all of our bases at the end, basically midnight. And then if there's any counters or whatever, if we had any plot holes, they're going to get sealed up and then we lose or whatever. I think that's how it's going. But basically, we don't have to explain things as we go. And on the other side of it, Beatrice doesn't have to state any red truths. You know, she was kind of throwing them around, especially in episode 2. Episode 3, they were definitely here and there. And it wasn't only her. You know, it was also Ava Beatrice that was using them. So now she's going to be a little bit more on the cautious side. It's starting to get confusing, but it's more or less something like this. For example, let's take one of the riddles in the past where I asked her to repeat something. The actual number of master keys is 5. That had been to confirm that there really were 5 master keys, when she claimed that there were no more than 5. But since that by itself wouldn't deny witches, I can't say it in blue. So in order to speak in blue, I would need to say something like this. The actual number of master keys was greater than 5. The culprit entered or exited the room with that extra key. Only then would the witch, who claimed that this was a closed room murder made with magic, be responsible for making a counter-argument. In other words, I can't demand that she repeat something that merely confirms the premises of my reasoning. And that'll probably be a significant disadvantage for me. Crap. It's enough to make the red Beato use to toy with me until now look extremely merciful. Oh no, things are about to get fucky for sure.
くそ。仮に俺がある密室について仮説を立て、それを青で語ったとしても、ベアトがそれを最後の最後で否定してきやがったら、俺には次の仮説を立てる時間すらもねえってことじゃねえか。
That's what I'm seeing out of this.
このルールは最悪だ。
また戦う前から屈服？落ち着きなさい。一つの謎に対して青は一度しか使えないとは言われてないわ。それがどういう意味かわかる？
いや、どういう意味だ？
これまでのあなたは仮説を一つ立てては魔女の顔色を伺い、それがダメだったらその時改めて別の仮説を立てるという。それじゃあ魔女は追い詰められない。
じゃあどうやって戦うんだ？まさか。
ええ、そうよ。謎に点で挑むんじゃない。面で襲いかかるのよ。
Hey yo, wait a minute.
あなた、以前のゲームで推理の姿勢はそうあるべきだと自ら言ったわ。
Assault with a wall. That's right, I said so myself earlier. Guessing and trying to expose the mystery is like trying to shoot a distant target with an arrow. Until now, I've just been shooting off arrow after arrow, asking the witch if I scored a hit, and then preparing my bow again once I'm told what I've missed. There's no way I'll hit at that rate. Bullets might be a better example than arrows. If you take one shot after another at a distant target with a handgun, you probably won't hit it easily. So how can you hit it? If a handgun doesn't work, use a shotgun. Well, that's not going to work either, but okay, whatever. Instead of a single bullet, beat her down with shot comprised of countless projectiles at once. Shot scatters, so it impacts a wide area. And that makes it optimal for shooting small, fast targets like birds. That's right. There's no rule that says I have to guess like a pistol shooting one shot off at a time. Making a single theory and just hoping that it hits is no better than stopping your own thinking. Blast away with a number of bullets or of guesses and make them impact like a wall, so that only one of them hitting the target is enough.
Oh.
I mean, I kind of get it, you know, a wall instead of just one single thing. Basically, prepare that whole ass thesis, get it ready to go, and then just slam it down. And I think that's kind of what Battler was doing in the previous episode. So we have an idea of how to approach it. If you just, cover all your bases, so many of them, it'll corner way more than just throwing out like the baseline theory.
なるほどな。お前の赤き真実が切れ味鋭い日本刀みたいなもんだとしたら、いや、火力で魔女を蜂の巣にする機関銃だぜ。
下手な鉄砲数打ちゃなんとやらか。そなたらしいそやな例えよ。
推理小説なんかのクライマックスはいつもこうだった。名探偵が容疑者を一堂に集め、たった一つの推理を披露して、それを華麗に当ててみせるんだ。まるで一本の矢で見事にリンゴを射抜くウィリアム・テルのようにだ。だからこそそれが美徳みたいに誤解しちまってた。
It probably would be splendid if I could shoot through the truth with a single guess. But that isn't realistic. Look at real wars. Do they really have everyone pull long guns out of the trench, aim really well, and take shots at each other one at a time? They don't, right? They fire rapidly, they fire all over the place, they pin down the enemy with a barrage. Reasoning is the same way. Because of that weird virtue, I've been stuck thinking it's better to take one line of reasoning at a time. We humans can fire off countless guesses and possibilities. The bullet is the power of imagination. Suspension of thought is a clogged barrel. The pathetic way I've been reasoning up until now is like a pea shooter. I've been so lame, weakly firing off shots, getting them denied and read, and then taking the next bullet and reloading. My blue truth, which claims that humans and tricks are what's real, will overpower its target, the illusion told by the witch, with its firepower and the force of what I can imagine. This is Ushiromiya Battler's fighting style. Yep, shotgun rain.
お前のおかげで俺の本当の戦い方が分かってきたぜ。ありがとうよ、グレーテレ。
どういたしまして。
これまでの俺が情けなく思えてくら。ああ、ベアトの言う通りだぜ。これまでの俺はハンデをもらってきた。そいつを認めるぜ。新ルール了解した。俺には俺の戦い方がある。そいつを見せてやれ。
その息やよし、気に入ったぞ。ならば早速使ってみるがいい。そなたの青き真実とやらを。
ああ、使ってやるぜ。
We're gonna use it right now. We've had no time to prepare
こ
something.
の青き真実でお前が主張する全員にアリバイがあるから魔女の犯行しかありえないという魔女説は打ち砕ける。これが俺の真実だ。後ろ宮金蔵はすでに死亡している。
Oh yeah, we're going back to this idea, which I've had some time to think about it. I really don't think it's as crazy as it may seem, because none of the characters outside of the servants have actually seen Kinzo. So yeah, you can actually throw that idea out there. He's been dead for who knows how long, and one other person has taken the place. And an even crazier idea, but taking up the same sort of, same sort of realm that this is coming from. Any of the servants could be in like a really well-crafted disguise, maybe. Who knows?
よって島の本当の人数は17人。そこに未知の人物 X が加わることで、この人物 X の存在の過程によって17人全員にアリバイがあっても犯行は可能になる。
So let's think about that, What would Kinzo have to do to prove that he was here? So I don't know if he like shouted at Kraus in like episode 1 or something to like leave him alone or whatever. Any of the servants could lie, How much trust do we have in any of the servants? And maybe they're misguided. Who really knows? There is Genji, but he is really close to Kinzo. In what way? I don't know. He could just be, going along with it. And Nanjo too. Nanjo also saw Kinzo. So everybody outside of the family here has seen Kinzo basically, or has had the opportunity to. Then there's also his ring that he does throw out of the window. This could actually, help prove that the ring wasn't with him. So, yeah, obviously not thrown out the window, but already in the possession of somebody else. There's a lot of ways that we can go about this. People could just be lying. Anyways, I think this is about to be completely shattered, like 100%. Or not, we're just gonna go back to the story.
つまり
That's
私
cool
たちは
too.
これ以上お父様への面会を拒まれるならば以下の仮説を立てなければならないの。つまりお父様はすでに亡くなっている。しかし遺産を分配したくないクラウス兄さんがそれを隠してるって。
バカバカしい。
そうです。バカバカしいにも程があります。これほどの侮辱は初めてです。私たちは警官立ち会いの下で強制的にその生死を確かめることさえ可能よ。ねえ、エヴァ姉さん。
ええ、そうよ兄さん。話は何とでもでっち上げられるわ。兄さんが第三者の立ち会いのもとにお父様を面会させなければならない状況になんて簡単にお膳立てができるわ。
でもそれは後ろ宮家にとってとても不名誉なことだと思うの。
Therefore, it would just be easier
だから
if we
私は
could
この
just
提案をしている。
go up and see him.
世話人の義務と責任、万一の際のペナルティ、これを承諾してくれれば私たちはお父様を無理やり引きずり出すなんて真似は控えることができる。
ああ、そうだぜ兄貴。さっき言ったじゃねえか。兄貴は世話人として当然の義務を果たしてるってね。綺麗の条件は大したことじゃねえはずだぜ。なぜ過剰反応する？親父が自然死以外の理由で死んだ場合、次期当主から引きずり下ろされるってのがそんなにも気になるのかよ。
We really got to observe the reactions of Kraus here.
それとも何？お父様が
And
自
Deva
然死以
and
外の
Hideyoshi
理由で亡くなるような心当たりでもあるのかしら。
そんな心当たりなどあるわけもない。なるほど。私にも親父殿の気持ちが分かってきたよ。死に方一つ自由にさせてもらえないとは実に気の毒な晩年だよ。
ええ、本当に気の毒な晩年ね。その晩年が実はもう過去のことじゃないのかと私たちは疑っているの。この疑惑は私たちをお父様に面会させてもらえるだけであっさりと解けるわ。ここまで私たちに侮辱されてもそれでも面会は許されないんですか、クラウス兄さん。お父様は多分すでに亡くなっているわ。おそらく遺体は極秘のうちにどこかに処分したでしょう。そしてお父様の代理ということで財産を独占した後失踪したことにして7年かけてお父様を死体なき死者にする。ごめんなさいね、気を悪くしないで。これはあくまでも私の推理ごっこだから。
無礼極まりない。
So with this idea in mind, there's also the credits that have shown that everybody is dead, right? All 18 of, you know, the people that we assume to be on the island, our cast of characters, have died. I don't remember if it actually states the cause of death. I mean, there is our character log, which does state it, but that's through our perspective. So, I don't know. Was anything else stated in the future on how people died?
あなたにこの屋敷にとどまる資格はありません。即刻退場なさい。
Wow.
二度と当家の敷居をまたぐことを許しません。去年通用した手が今年もまた通用すると思ったのが運の尽きね。お父様はご機嫌斜めだから面会できない？去年の時点で十分不審だったのに今年もだなんて。お父様の代理を語り財産を乗っ取るならもっとスピーディーにやって今日の親族会議を待たずに失踪させるべきだったわね。さすがに甘いわよ、クラウスお兄様。
I really do gotta appreciate the initiative
君が
or
何のことを言っ
aggressiveness.
ているのか私にはさ。
It just honestly, how she's coming in swinging is just impressive.
でもお父様がご機嫌斜めなのは事実でクラウス兄さんが 世話人としての責務として私たちの面会を拒んでるのだとしたら、それなら私の出した条件を飲んでくれればこの場は収まるわ。何しろお父様のことをこんなにも大切にするクラウス兄さんですもの。お父様に検視されて困るような死に方があるわけがない。いずれにせよお父様は病院嫌いなんだから書斎で亡くなるでしょうね。いずれにせよ必ず検視は行われるわ。検視を逃れて殺すには失踪しかない。
キリエさん、兄さんをいじめるのはそれくらいにしてくださらないかしら。
Yeah, you're really on board with this, aren't you, Ava? All of a sudden, Ava rebuked Kyrie in its sickeningly kind voice. Considering the situation, that was impossible, which is why it was sickening.
兄さんにもいろいろと都合やプライドもあるはず。兄さんにとって当然の義務であっても、それを文書化してその上ペナルティまで課せられたんじゃ、そりゃ不愉快なはずよ。ねえローザ。
ええ、そうね。クラウス兄さんの長男としてのプライドを軽んじすぎたかもしれないわ。キリエさんの言うような世話人の責務についての覚書にサインというのはさすがに気の毒かもしれない。
そうだな。兄貴はよくやってくれてる。そこを汲み取り、おかしな書類にサインとか、万一の時はペナルティとか、そういう話を抜きにして兄貴に全部一任することを考えてもいいかもしれねえな。お前ら。
Damn, they really twisted his arm behind his back here in this one. See, in episode 1, I was really impressed with how they were being sneaky, but here, they're just being devilish. Not just Ava, but Rudolph and Rosa as well, with unnerving smiles on their faces as though they had planned this beforehand, began closing in on Kraus. They now understood perfectly how Kyrie had cornered Kraus, and exactly where she was prepared to compromise.
世話人の責務についての覚書。これにサインすることなく、私たちがお父様への面会を生涯求めないことにもできるわ。覚書などなくても、クラウス兄さんが世話人にふさわしいという保証をしてくれれば。
私にその保証金を支払えというのかね。これはおかしい。
I mean, you get the idea here, Kraus.
保証金はエヴァさん、ルドルフさん、そしてローザさんの3人に1人30億円ずつ、手付金としてその1割の3億円ずつを今年度中に振り込んでもらうわ。
90億だとそんな金はない。
お父様がお亡くなりになった後なら捻出できるはずよ。私たちもその程度には下調べは済んでる。手付金の9億円だってクラウスさんの財産状況ならなんとかなるはず。それこそお父様に借りることだって可能でしょ。白々しい演技は不要よ。
不愉快だ。
That's not the word I would use there, bud.
実に不愉快な話だ。
Especially with the amount of anger you're showing here.
お父様の遺産の話だけでも十分不敬だというのに、お父様はもう死んでいる。主人がそれを隠していて財産を独占している。もううんざりです。あなたたち全員にもはや後ろ宮を名乗る資格などありません。
落ち着いてや夏井さん。みんなももう話はこれまでや。どうやこの場の話は一旦ここまでにせんか。規模がでかい上に唐突な話や。わしらも興奮してるところがあるかもしれん。
No, I think everybody on the other side's doing just fine.
ここは一旦休憩を挟んで頭を冷やさんか。クラウス兄さんにもちょいと時間が必要やろな、クラウスさん。
時間？そんなものがなぜ私に必要なのかね。
まわしらかて本音じゃボスなことなど考えとらん。どうしてもお父さんに会わせてもらえんから。それにクラウスさんが売り言葉に買い言葉で頭に血が上ってしまったのもよ
わかった。
クラウス兄さんかって本当そこまで言うんなら合わせてやってもいいと思っとるんやな。そうやろ。ただついつい意地になってもうたんで今さら会ってもいいなんて言えなくなってしまっただけや。そうやろな。
確かに主人も皆さん同様
Yeah, you too.
少々冷静を欠いてしまったところもあるでしょう。
You can't step outside of the circle here. You're a part of it.
私たちはお父様の皆さんに会いたくないという意思を尊重して頑なに断っていたに過ぎません。
そうだな。つい昔のような兄弟喧嘩になってしまい、私も意地になってしまった。頭を冷やそう。お前たちが親父殿にどうしても会いたいという強い気持ちはよく分かった。私もそれを伝える。なんとか面会してもらえるよう親父を説得しよう。それでどうかね。
そうね。クラウス兄さんに説得の時間を与えてもいいと思うわ。
そうだね。頼むぜ兄貴。俺たちに会ってくれるようよく説得してくれ。何しろ親父の世話人なんだからよ。
その説得だけど今夜中って制限を設けさせてもらうわよ。明日になったら私たちは書斎の扉を打ち破ってでもお父様の安否を確認するわ。
Oh, I'm sure that's gonna be a whole lot of fun when 6 people die.
それでいいわよね兄さん。
And if Kinzo is one of those 6, oh boy. Oh
な
no.
るほど。説得すらも大して時間はかけられないようだ。
Actually, it becomes such a problem even for Battler if Kinzo is one of the 6 because, I mean, how do you prove that he was, killed that night and maybe not night like before and somebody else is on the island? Who
夏
knows?
日行こう。せめて晩餐にはご一緒していただくよう。
はい。
They really got out of here quick. Crowds left the parlor with Natsuki. Once their footsteps disappeared, Hideyoshi took a deep breath, smirking and flopping onto the sofa. What a job well done, right?
キリエさん、あんた恐ろしい人やな。
No, she's great.
勝手な口出しをしてごめんなさい。謝るわ。
いやいや、当初の計画にはなかった追い詰め方だが結果は上々だ。
Yeah, I think that somehow got him better than in episode 1.
相変わらずお前ってやつには頭が下がるぜ。
でも9億円も用意できるのかしら。クラウス兄さんの財政状況ギリギリで 7.5 億が限界と私たちは計算したはず。9億はさすがにふっかけすぎじゃない？
無理なら無理でいいのよ。クラウス兄さんの顔を立てて 7.5 億に減額とかやれば譲歩したっぽく見えて収まりやすいでしょ。本当に9億出てきたなら大成功だし。
兄さん、今頃夏日さんと作戦会議中でしょうね。あのプライドの高い兄さんがどんな言い訳をしながらへりくつをこねてくるか。
お父さんを説得できるわけがない。
There's no way to convince someone who isn't even there. Unless... That's the big question. Is he really there? Because we've seen scenes with him here.
兄弟たちも
Oh, wait, is he actually in the room?
会議にそれぞれの都合を合わせてやってきています。
Kraus and Natsuhi could be seen in Kinzo's dimly lit study, so he is there. Every once in a while, thunder could be heard, and the dimly lit room flickered with light. It seemed that the island would be closed off by the storm very soon.
お父様、どうか今一度不敬な彼らに当主様の威厳をお示しください。
We're not... Oh yeah, there he is. I was about to ask, are we actually going to see him? Well, I guess we're not actually going to see him, maybe? The large shadow of a person standing by the window, his majestic back facing them, answered quietly and forcefully. He hung his head and shook, Eventually, they could hear a mumbling laugh over his shoulder.
ダメだな、全然ダメだ。
3 months left to live. An almost finished geezer? To whom exactly are you referring? Wow. He's got quite the look. He really does.
弟たちに恫喝されてのこのこやってきたか。恥を知れ。
As Kinzo turned and brushed his cape, it flashed forcefully through the room's stale air. That air pressure truly signified Ushiromiya Kinzo's majesty and willpower itself. I heard it chime. I don't know what that was. Was that something here in characters? I guess he's now underneath, what the fuck? Goldsmith? Huh? Okay, well, he's definitely alive here on the human side. But this is new. This is a new entry here. Okay. Goldsmith. Kinzo's name as a mage. His skills as a summoner are legendary for the modern age. In terms of summoning ability, there are times when he surpasses even Beatrice. However, he is very mismatched, and while he does excel in some areas, he is fatally lacking as a mage in others. He cannot even perform the trifling magic to reheat a cup of tea, yet he can summon demons capable of using magic to boil the oceans. His system of magic is his own, and has its origins in mathematical miracles. Beatrice later reworked her own system of magic based on this. What the fuck? Okay. After being blown back by that wind, it wasn't strange that Kraus landed on his butt. As though showing consideration for Kraus, who looked as though his legs had been swept out from under him, Natsuhi also crouched down. Then, with a thunk, Kinzo's footsteps approached with a heft that signified his dignity.
お父さん。
バカや。カノンに聞いておるわ。貴様が弟たちにどれほど情けなく手玉に取られたかをな。
What is with this look that he's giving? He's never had this expression before. His eyes, man.
お父様。夫はお父様の名誉を守るために懸命に。
Without lending an ear to Natsuhi's words, Kinzo extended his palm to Kraus's collar as the latter sat on the floor. No, he curled his fingers, leaving only his pointer finger out, and then took that finger and pressed hard into Kraus's collar, twisted it, and slowly, with just one finger, picked Kraus up into the air? What?
情けないやつだな、お前は。妻に自分の弁解をさせるのか。言い訳くらい自分でしてみせよ。
What is happening here? I don't know why, but like I feel so flabbergasted. Kraus clawed at the air. Kinzo's brawny finger was choking him. He couldn't even open his mouth, much less talk. However, even if he had been able to open his mouth, as he was now, there was no way he'd be able to think up an excuse that Kinzo would accept. Still, how could this power be described? No one would call Kinzo an old man after seeing this superhuman strength.
お父様。夫は夫なりに戦いました。どうかお許しください。
夏日、戦いというのはな、負けるまでの過程は戦うとは言わぬ。それはただ一言、みっともないというのだ。これが私の跡継ぎだというのか。
As thunder roared, Kinzo laughed heartily as though nothing could be more pleasant. When he finished laughing, he threw his son away like he was scrap paper, slamming him against the wall. Which, okay, so a lot of that is pretty fucking nuts. So he did that with one finger. As an old man, Kraus seems to be a pretty, like, a big guy. He seems to be pretty, like, he's got some weight to him, you know? And then he threw him at a wall? Kraus slid down the wall, rubbing his throat as though in pain. Natsuhi ran up to him and looked after him. But without showing any interest in the two of them, Kinzo returned to the space near the window, as though he had just been there the whole time, and looked up at the thunderclouds of misfortune.
ベアトリーチェにさえ会えれば我が人生には何の悔いもないと思っていたが、どうやらそういうわけにもいかぬらしい。魔女より得たものは何も残せぬのが初めからの約束。しかし後宮の名は魔女のものではない。その名を継ぐのが誰にふさわしいか、どうやらそれだけはわしが自らの手で解決せねばならぬようだ。喜べクラウス、気が変わったぞ。
Hey, yo, wait, is he actually going to, like, come to dinner?
お父さんでは。
貴様らふぬけどもと食事をする気など起きぬ。だがその後の親族会議には出席する。
Wow.
お父様、ありがとうございます。
私はその席上で当主継承についての重大な発表をするであろう。お前たちのくだらない争いは私自らが解決してやる。
Yeah, I don't remember him like laughing like this in previous episodes. That might just be me. That really just might be me misremembering. But god damn, what is up with this guy today? Okay, but also, if he actually does show up, indeed, then I have to argue we gotta throw away this idea that he has been killed at least a day before this 2-day event, the family conference. Like, we just have to throw away this idea. Forcefully opening the door with a clunk, Rosa flew in with Maria.
Genji-sanか誰かいない？誰でもいいの。バスタオルを持ってきて。
There was an already full-blown typhoon outside, and it was starting to pour down hard. Even though she had had an umbrella, Maria had been in the rose garden amid all that wind and rain the whole time. She had grown ice cold. Maria had gotten into a minor fight with Rosa in the rose garden and had been told to stay there. She had done as she was told and continued to wait in that spot even though rain was pouring down. Rosa certainly had gotten a little emotional and angry, but Maria's stubborn whim was probably more to blame. The cousins who had seen that exchange were relieved to see that mother and child were close to each other again. I'm still not happy with all that. That's a hard one to watch. Rosa scrubbed Maria's head with a towel. She seemed overcome with worry that Maria had caught a cold, but Maria herself was nonchalant, as she tends to be, because she's a weird-ass child.
やっぱり一度戻って着替えさせた方がいいかしら。
全然平気。それよりお腹空いたから着替えよりご飯がいい。
大丈夫そうだぜ、ローザおばさん。こんだけ元気ならきっと大丈夫だよ。
傘があって本当に良かったよ。ひょっとしたらずぶ濡れかもしれないと思ってたからね。傘を持ってたのは不幸中の幸いだったよ。
でもよマリア、いくら傘があってもこんな大雨になったらちゃんと雨宿りしなきゃダメだぜ。女の子は体を冷やしちゃ絶対にいけない。
Nah, like, as a kid, I never knew the consequences of, just standing out in the rain. I thought that shit was fun. But no, it's really dangerous. Doesn't matter how old you are.
いいのよ、ジェシカちゃん。ママがそこにずっといなさいと言ったのが悪いの。本当にごめんね。
マリアいい子。ママの言う通りにしてたからいい子。寒くてもずっといた。ママが来るまでずっといた。
マリアは本当にいい子よ。ママの言いつけをちゃんと守ったわね。本当に偉いわ。でも次からはママの言いつけであっても、あんな大雨になったらちゃんと雨宿りをするのよ。
Yeah, you're not a robot or anything here.
ママと約束よ。
ママと約束。
As Rosa gently held Maria, they joined their pinkies together and promised. Battler and the others realized that by touching her mother's pinky, the warmth had started to return to Maria's body.
カノン君、タオルをありがとう。助かったわ。
それでは失礼いたします。
As Kanon bowed with a blank expression, as though he had done nothing that required gratitude, he left the parlor.
さあ、もうお夕飯よ。
We have not really seen any of the servants in this go-around so
偉いマ
far.
リアには、後でママの分のデザートも分けてあげるわ。
本当ママ。デザートもらえる。ママ大好き、ママ大好き。
こらマリア、はしゃがないの。ママもマリアが大好きよ。マリア大好き。
マリアもママ大好き、ママ大好き。
Oh boy. Can we please stop? Rosa and Maria looked really close. Even the cousins who watched started to feel a long-forgotten warmth fill up in their chests.
このくらいの年頃が親と一番仲がいいのかもしれねえな。
うちはそうでもなかったぜ。母さんとかいっつも勉強勉強とうるさかったな。
子供を愛していればこそだよ。親の愛は優しさや甘やかしだけじゃないんだよ。僕の母さんも厳しかったけど、僕を大事に思ってくれたからこそだって今ならわかるよ。
Yeah, there's getting pushed to do the right thing in your life to raise you well, and then getting pushed out into the middle of a fucking busy ass road. Which is why, like, this relationship between Rosa and Maria, just, god damn it, man. It really does upset me so many times. Even in episode 2 at the end, like, it was rough. It really was.
マリア大好き。マリア大好き。さあ、食事に行きましょう。お手手つないで仲良くね。
お手手つないで仲良く。ママとマリア仲良し仲良し。
そうよ。ママとマリアは仲良しよ。いつまでもずーっとね。愛してるわ。マリア。
What the fuck? Why are we jumping? Yeah, why are we jumping out of the story here?
どうした?
The sudden sound had come from the teacup Gretel had been holding, which had fallen and smashed.
ごめんなさい。ぼんやりしてたわ。落としちゃってごめんなさい。
No, you're good. I was actually thinking about Ange, you know, thinking back on the chapter that we were on before we finally jumped here into the main event. And yeah, just thinking about Maria's and her mother's relationship. You know, just, I don't know. I have so many conflicting feelings, and I worry. I just worry a lot. The cup on the floor had smashed to pieces. Would it really have made such a sound and smashed to pieces just being dropped from that height? No, she fucking threw that shit. Even someone as thick-headed as Battler could realize that she was in a bad mood over something. But he couldn't understand why she had suddenly grown so displeased. When she made to bend over and pick up the fragments of the cup, Renove appeared out of nowhere and stopped her.
お怪我をなさいますよ。お片付けは私どもにお任せを。紅茶のおかわりをお持ちしましょうか。
いらないわ。どうも悪魔の紅茶は口に合わないみたい。
ほう、ロノウェの紅茶でも口に合わぬものがおったとは。そなたの肥えた舌には敬意を表するぞ。
退屈してきたんで、ちょっと席を外すわ。
Go out where?
おいおい、いよいよこれからだろうが。多分この時点でマリアはまた傘と手紙をベアトリーチェから受け取ってるって言い出すんだぜ。ここからが重要だってのに。
失礼するわ。ごめんなさいね。後片付けをお願い。
お任せを。
Without saying anything else, Gretel disappeared of her own accord. Her form literally melted and disappeared into thin air. There was definitely a displeased expression on her face, but neither Battler nor Renove, and of course not Beato either, could understand why her mood had so suddenly worsened. All that remained was the scent of the black tea that she'd spilled. I mean, We can all have a little bit of an idea there. She's pissed off because of this relationship that they hold. I don't like it. No, to be more blunt, it disgusts me.
なんでエンジェはイラついてるの？
なんでって決まってるでしょ。
マリアにはわからないよ。
Even Maria One-chan, with that blank expression on her face, irritated me. As I held my hands, palms up in the air, or the empty air, from out of nowhere a single book landed on them. It was Maria One-chan's diary. Even though I didn't turn the pages were flipped through, despite there being no wind, and the door to Maria One-chan's world opened.
どうしてエンジェはマリアが幸せじゃないと思うの？
客観的に判断してよ。
客観的にエンジェの主観でだね。
真実は私にとってのものとマリアお姉ちゃんにとってのものとでは異なると言いたいの？
真実は観測者によって形を変えるよ。そして未来の観測者が常にその形状を上書きする。エンジェはマリアの幸せをどうしたいの？
The pages of the diary were flipped through at greater and greater speeds. Then a brilliant light poured out from the depths of the diary, swallowing everything up and painting over everything with white. Well, we're going back to the past, I'm sure. The thing is, and this is the unfortunate part with abuse, is that she probably never knew. She probably never knew of how unfortunate her position was, you know? She's just always trying to make the best of it, which really, really, really sucks. Because even when she was hit or neglected, like I'm sure this is what that is that, you know, Rosa has to work late again or whatever. Like, that's not good. Like, there's nothing to be happy about here. Optimism is one thing, but I'm not trying to say that neglect is a form of abuse, but everything does pile up here. It does. And it's like she ignores all the negativity.
緊急に片付けなきゃならない仕事が山積みで、ちょっと会社に缶詰にならなきゃならないの。多分、明後日の深夜まで家に帰れないわ。
Jesus Christ.
じゃあ日曜日の一緒に映画を見に行く約束は？
映画？
Judging by Rosa's tone, she had clearly forgotten that promise. But Maria's response to that was an apology for asking. I'm sorry. Maria apologized for troubling her mother by asking that question. Yeah, that's not good. That's not right. That's not normal.
お留守番してる。ちゃんとお行儀よく待ってる。毎日お風呂に入って新しい肌着にするよ。お金の場所も分かってる。毎日違うお店に行くようにする。あんまり遅い時間に出かけないようにする。おまわりさんに聞かれたらママのお使いですって言うようにする。ちゃんとママに言われた通りに言うようにする。
This shit is sad. And I can't even, like, I do struggle to explain it. I do. I feel like I got such a great opportunity to not have to live through something like this as a child. Looking back, I can realize that I had a great upbringing, but not everyone gets to share that. So I really can't put it into words how fucking sad this is that she gets this neglect and she has this pattern here that we're seeing and that she just kind of takes the abuse.
ちゃんといい子にしてるのよ。そしたらお土産を買ってきてあげるわ。いい？夜は9時までに寝るのよ。ママが帰ってこないなんて先生にも大人にも言っちゃダメよ。いいわね。
うん。だからママ、お仕事頑張ってね。頑張ってお仕事を終わらせて少しでも早く帰ってきてね。マリア、もう夜中に泣いて近所の人に迷惑なんかかけたりしないから。だから早く帰ってきてね。
The only positive I can see out of this is that she's going to be developing really early independency, which I think, you know, that's a positive in some sort of way. I mean, you can really jump into adulthood a whole lot better, but it's still loneliness, and there's no positivity behind loneliness.
じゃ、忙しいので切るわよ。いい子にして待ってるのよ。余計なことはしちゃダメよ。じゃあね。
With a tone of finality in her voice, Rosa hung up the phone without waiting for Maria's answer. No I love you or anything there. Maria politely set down the receiver and returned to the sofa. There sat the stuffed animal Sakutaro, with whom she had been watching TV until a second ago. Sakutaro was holding the remote control to the TV. The TV had been turned off because of the phone call. He looked like he was telling her to push the switch because he wanted to watch TV again quickly.
サク太郎、テレビ見たい？
おりゅ？マリアはもう見たくないの？芸人チーム全問正解したら逆転かもしれない。
もうテレビいいや。
Again, Mama was busy with her work and didn't come home. Mama works so much overtime that she doesn't come home until late. Because she has dates or something, she always comes home after drinking a lot of alcohol, even though she's not good at drinking. And with a pale face, she'll go straight into the shower and then to bed. And because she has overtime even on the weekends or something, she says that she has to spend the night there, and almost never comes home. Recently, she started saying something about how she's got a big job she's working on, so this sort of thing happens a lot. So she's prioritizing dates on her free time. The pictures I did my best on during drawing time were laughed at by everyone, but even so, I wanted to show them just to Mama, and once again, she won't be able to look at them for me. And I could talk about the time everyone pushed the job of cleaning up onto me, but I did my best by myself and was praised by the teacher. Or the time I went shopping and the man at the shop said I'm always such a good kid and gave me a free canned coffee. And then there was the time that I wanted to encourage Mama because she worked so hard on her job and hid a card for her under her pillow.
他にもいっぱいお話ししたかった。
ママはお仕事をいっぱい頑張ってくれてるんだよ。毎日のご飯のために一生懸命働いてくれてるんだよ。
お仕事。ママ、お仕事なんかやめちゃえ。
お仕事は大人の大切な仕事なんだよ。マリアにご飯を食べさせて、お洋服を買って、学校の給食費を払って、サマーキャンプの積立金を払って、それはみんなママが働いてお金を稼いでくれるからなんだよ。
ご飯いらない。お洋服もいらない。給食もいらないし、サマーキャンプなんか行きたくない。
She would rather just have her
ど
mother.
うせマリアをどこの班も混ぜてくれないもん。
ウリュウ、ママはさっき電話でお仕事から帰ってきたらお土産を買ってきてくれるって約束してくれたよ。ママはマリアのことが大事で寂しくさせてることを申し訳ないと思ってるから、そういう約束をしてくれたんだと思うよ。
そうかな。
ウリュウ、めんどくさかったり嫌だったりしたらそんなことはしないもん。ママだってマリアのそばにいつだっていたいんだよ。それができなくてママも辛くて悲しい。ママが泣きながらずっとマリアの隣にいて夜を過ごしてくれた日を僕は覚えてるよ。
なんでママが泣いてるのかわからなかったけど、悲しむママが悲しくて。
I mean, there could be more going on that she's not telling her, which that's not really out of the realm of like impossibility because, yeah, I mean, parents definitely hide stuff or suppress the truth a little bit from their kids all the time because they wouldn't understand. There's no point in telling it. Plus, you don't want to make them sadder.
ただマリアは
You don't want them to be
黙ってマ
concerned.
マのそばにいることしかできなかった。
あの時最後にママが言ったの、マリアにありがとうって言った。ただそばにいてくれるだけでマリアだけが世界でただ一人の味方なんだよってママ。ウリュウ、覚えてる？
マリアが世界でただ一人の味方なんだよってママ言った。
Sakutaru set the remote control on the table, crawled up onto the sofa, sat on my lap, and spoke to me, gazing into my eyes. So I didn't really bring up, like, trying to figure out the reality of this, you know, with this stuffed animal here, but I do think that Maria is projecting a more optimistic an objectively speaking side of herself onto the stuffed animal, which is interesting, but I don't remember how I acted as a very young child with imaginary friends. All I knew was that I had them.
ママもきっとマリアと同じな
I
んだ
think
よ。
that's pretty regular for kids.
ママの描いたデザインだけがクライアントに笑われて、
Well, kids of back then, now everybody's got their iPads. They've got Talking Tom.
ママの会社だけが他の会社から面倒な仕事を押し付けられて、ママは社長だから自分一人で片付けなくちゃならなくて、ママの会社だけがいつも他の会社の仕事に混ぜてもらえない。ママの味方はマリアだけなんだよ。そのマリアがママにお仕事なんかやめちゃえなんて言ったら、作太郎、僕には世界中でただ一人マリアがいる。ママには世界中でただ一人マリアがいる。マリアにはママもいるし、作太郎もいる。だからマリアは寂しくなんかない。うりゅう。
See, like I said, there's the
ママは
optimism.
お仕事が忙しいからなかなかマリアと一緒にいられないけど、マリアはどうかそれを責めないで。その代わり僕はいつも一緒に、そしていつまでも一緒にマリアのそばにいるから。ウリュウ、僕が一緒じゃ悲しみを止められない。
I was gonna say, wow, she's even crying her ooze. From the corner of Maria's heart, which she had been doing her best to seal up, drops of sadness finally drip down. Drip, drip. Drop, drop. And all of that. Even though weekends when Mama didn't come home weren't that rare a thing, it wasn't as though that night was particularly painful or sad compared to other nights. And yet Maria's tears poured down.
ウリュウ、マリア泣かないで。僕がずっと一緒にいるから。マリアが泣いても僕は泣かない。僕はライオンの子だから寂しくても泣かないよ。僕だって泣きたいけど僕は泣かないんだもん。どうして作太郎は泣かないの？こんなに寂しくて涙がこらえられなくても泣かないの？ウリュウ、だって僕が泣いたら誰がマリアを慰めるの？だから僕は泣かないよ。だってマリアに元気を出してもらいたいから。元気を出したらママは帰ってくるの？ママが帰ってきた時、元気なマリアで迎えてあげたらママはきっと喜ぶと思うな。ウリュウ、ママは喜ぶ？ウリュウ、そしたらきっとお仕事の疲れもきっと癒されると思うよ。そしたらきっといつもより早く元気になってくれて、マリアともいっぱい遊んでくれると思うな。マリアがママの待ってるお家へ帰ってきた時、ママが上機嫌で台所にいたらすごく幸せな気持ちになるでしょ？ママもきっと同じだよ。マリアがご機嫌でお留守番してたらママも幸せになるかな。ウリュウ。
Sakutaro nodded deeply with his big head. The tears couldn't keep falling from Maria's eyes. If she greeted Mama with a tear-stained face, Mama would probably get sad too.
マリアは知ってるよ。笑顔を呼ぶ魔法は自分も笑わなきゃできないってこと。マリアは知ってるよ。だからもう泣かない。ねえマリア、僕から楽しく過ごす提案があるよ。
Uh-oh.
ウリュウ、聞いてくれる？
Yeah, let's hear it.
何？ママが日曜日の深夜まで帰ってこないから、だからママに内緒のパジャマパーティーをして遊ぼうよ。パジャマパーティー？今夜は眠くなるまでベッドの中でお菓子を食べたりジュースを飲んだりしながら僕と遊ぶの。
Uh-oh.
パジャマパーティー？楽しそう。9時に寝なくていいの？寝ないとママに怒られない？ママがいない時だけの僕とマリアの秘密。だから今夜はマリアが眠くなるまでずっと僕たちで楽しく過ごそう。
Time to create bad
ジェリービーンズを
habits.
食べながら 次は何の色を引くか当てっこして遊ぼう。ピーナッツを割ってどっちがおじいさんか当てて遊ぼう。クローゼットの中を宝探ししよう。他にもオレンジジュースとメロンジュースを合わせたらどんな味になるかな。
Yeah, probably not all that great. You gotta be very careful with mixing stuff.
いっぺんやってみたかったけど、ママにやっていいって聞いたらダメって怒られた。
We also got a new tip there, I'm pretty sure. Peanuts. When peanuts that have been removed from their shells are cracked in half, one half has a nub on the end with small leaves protruding from it. In Japan, young children are sometimes told that the half with the nub is the grandpa, because the leaves look like a mustache. The other half, obviously, would be the grandma. Okay, I was wondering about that. That was a weird, place to use grandpa. I didn't quite get it, but okay. I kind of get it now.
今夜はいっぱい遊んでいっぱい笑って涙を元気で吹き飛ばしちゃおう。大丈夫、僕と一緒だから絶対に楽しいよ。僕が絶対にマリアを幸せにしてあげるから。
サクタロと一緒なら絶対に楽しいよ。絶対に幸せになれるよ。ありがとう、サクタロ。もう泣かないね。とびきり楽しく二人で過ごして思いっきり元気になってママをおかえりなさいって迎えちゃおう。
うりゅう、今夜はいっぱい遊んでいっぱいご機嫌になっちゃおう。ママがいない夜にしか遊べない秘密のパーティーでいっぱい遊ぼう。僕たちが賑やかにしてたらきっと鏡の国や不思議の国からたくさんの友達が遊びに来るよ。
Oh boy, things are about to get
そ
weird.
したらもう僕たちはお友達でいっぱいで退屈なんかできなくなっちゃう。うりゅう、うりゅう。
Then Maria began her pajama party all alone with Sakutaro, having fun until late into the night. She played by sticking her hand into the bag of jelly beans without looking, trying to guess which color she'd pull out next. Sakutaro had good intuition and got it right a lot. Maria also had a brilliant streak, where she guessed right 4 times in a row. The game where she split peanuts open and tried to guess which was the grandpa was easier than guessing the color of the jelly beans, so she got it right a lot. Sucking her salt-covered fingers was impolite, but that was the yummiest part. She liked both cola and melon soda on their own. She hoped that by mixing her 2 favorite drinks, there might be a flash of light like alchemy, and a new drink that no one had ever tasted before would be created. She got excited about how, if it turned out really delicious, she would call it Sakutaro Soda and sell it. But unexpectedly, it had a weird taste that she hadn't hoped for, and the color was somewhat dull and thick. Maybe I shouldn't have been surprised that black and green mixed together would make this. Too bad. I imagined that it would become a sparkling pineapple color. I don't think those 2 colors would create that, but it was an awesome, incredible fun night. If it's this fun here, maybe Mama will feel like coming home and drop by out of the blue. So I got the feeling that Mama might suddenly come home and went to the front door many times to check. Well, there was no way Mama would be able to come home when she was this busy with work. But rather than a feeling of loneliness, it felt just a little disappointing that Mama couldn't join in on this fun late night party. Sometime soon, I'll do this when Mama is around and let her join in. Mama likes some things I don't think are yummy, so maybe she'll really like Sakutaro soda. When Mama comes back tired, I'll serve her some. And more than anything, I want to at least write about this fun night in a letter and tell Mama about it, so that these feelings of happiness will reach Mama too. Her work is always so tough, and she comes home so tired, so I hope I can share this happiness with her. Mama will almost certainly come home tired late Sunday night, and I hope I can brighten her day even just a little by sharing this happiness. Probably not, unfortunately, but I gently placed that letter on Mama's desk. To Mama, good job with your work again today. Let me share my happiness with you. From Maria. Simple letter, but at least she's not exposing the fact that she stayed up late and did all this crazy shit. Then I decided to give a present to Sakutaro for proposing this wonderful party. It was a small red muffler I found when searching for treasure in the closet. When I was still very young, Mama knitted this tiny thing. Maria was embroidered on it with knitting wool. I softly wrapped that muffler around Sakutaro. It really suited him, accenting his yellow with red very well. Yeah, it works out. Sakutaro looked embarrassed, so he wore his first, as he wore his first present ever. Yeah, it really looks good on him.
サクタロ、いつも本当にありがとう。こんなにも楽しい夜になったよ。どうしてマリアは泣いてたのか、もう思い出せないくらい。これからも一緒にいようね。そしていつも楽しく遊んで笑っていようね。うりゅう、マリア大好き。マリアもだよ。サクタロ大好き。
I wonder if in this episode, similarly to episode 3, where like the inner younger self of Ava became like, you know, the antagonist of that episode for the most part, if Sakutaro is going to somehow become the antagonist of this one. I don't know how that would happen, but there definitely seems to be a spotlight on this stuffed animal creature. After playing so wildly, Maria's room was a mess. Maybe she played a little too much. But I'm tired for today, so let's sleep together. And tomorrow we'll clean up together and welcome Mama with a clean room. Alright, Sakutaro? And then he did his little thing there.
マリアは、マリアとサクタロはこんなにも幸せだよ。
これがマリアお姉ちゃんの幸せなの？
Uh-oh.
マリアは幸せ。
ローザおばさんはあんなにも楽しみにして絶対だよと約束した映画の約束を完全に忘れてた。
お仕事で忙しかったからたまたま忘れちゃったんだよ。
I mean, you can argue that she was just very understanding, but no, she became numb to this shit as well.
仮に覚えてたとしてもお仕事じゃどうしようもない。覚えてても覚えてなくてもどちらにせよママはお仕事でお泊まり。映画には行けなかった。約束を覚えてたかどうかなんて些細な問題だよ。
There's no way that's a minor issue. After all, when Aunt Rosa answered movie on the phone, it was obvious that she had completely forgotten her promise. And when she heard that, Maria One-chan's mood definitely darkened.
確かにマリアお姉ちゃんの言う通り、ローザおばさんが約束を覚えていたとしても結局映画には行けなかった。でもお母さんとのささやかな休日を過ごす約束を一方的に忘れられていたなんて、私なら怒る。
悲しかったよ。たとえ覚えててくれたとしても映画には行けなかったわけだから。
But that's not the main point here.
でも私はその後サクタロととても楽しく夜を過ごした。エンジェもパジャマパーティーがすっごく楽しそうだって思ったはず。
楽しいわけなんかない。
Yeah, it's just straight up loneliness.
だってこの夜のマリアお姉ちゃんのはしゃぎぶりはお母さんが帰ってこなくて寂しくて、それを忘れるためにわざと空騒ぎをしただけじゃない。
違うよ。サクタロと本当に楽しくパーティーをしたんだよ。
いいえ違う。お姉ちゃんは悲しくて約束を忘れてたお母さんが憎くて部屋で暴れただけじゃない。
そんなことマリアの日記のどこに書いてあったの？
書いてはいない。でもこの一行飛ばしで書いてある行間からお姉ちゃんの気持ちがわかるの。お姉ちゃんはこの夜を楽しくなんか過ごさなかった。それで言いつけを破って夜更かしをし、おやつの時間以外には食べてはいけないと厳しく言われていたルールを破ってお菓子を食べ、それでも悲しみが埋められなくて部屋の中で暴れて散らかしただけじゃない。
Yeah, she actually went against everything that her mother wished that she wouldn't do in a way that, or she wrote it down in a way that looked like she was having a good time, and that good time led to all of these things happening, but no.
そして部屋中を散らかして疲れ切って
You can argue that she did rebel.
そのままベッドのシーツをかきむしりながら泣き疲れて眠っただけ。
日記には確かにママが映画の約束を忘れてたらしいこと、そして 私が夜更かしをしてサク太郎とパジャマパーティーをして、宝探しで部屋を散らかしてしまったと書かれてるね。
ええ、それはつまり、そういうことじゃない。マリアお姉ちゃんは、ローザおばさんの愛に飢えていた。そしてローザおばさんは、自分の仕事や世間体ばかりを優先して、いつもお姉ちゃんを後回しにしていた。だから虫唾が走るのよ。ローザおばさんのお姉ちゃんのことを愛しているという言葉がどれほど上辺だけのものか知っているから。
You can argue that she was just trying to make herself feel better.
お姉ちゃんだって知ってるはずなのに、なんで自分は幸せだなんて言えるの。マリアお姉ちゃんのそのあたりが私にはわからない。
There's a lot I don't understand about Maria.
この年になってもさっぱり理解できない。どうして悲しくないの？どうして不幸な現実を知りながら自分は幸せだなんて言えるの？私にはできない。わからない。
エンジは悲しい子だね。
God damn.
わけわかんない。どうして私が哀れまれなければならないの？
私の日記にはこんなにも楽しくパジャマパーティーの事実が記されているのに、同じ事実も異なる人間が観測すると異なる姿になってしまうんだね。
I remember talking about something like this with Bernkastel. Truth is unfixed and changes its form every time it's witnessed. By the way it's perceived. In other words, depending on the person who perceives it, a single truth becomes different truths. And truths of the past are painted over by truths of the future.
マリアはこの日記でこの夜の出来事をとても楽しかったと記した。
マリアお姉ちゃんはこの夜の出来事をとても幸せだったと記述した。
なのに日記を読んだエンジェはこの夜の出来事をとても悲しかったと読んだ。
マリアお姉ちゃんは幸せだと記述したのに、私はそうではないと読み解いた。
やめて。これは幸せな夜を記したものなの。これがこの夜の真実。お願いだからその幸せな真実を新しい、そして異なった真実で塗りつぶさないで。
マリアお姉ちゃんにはこれで幸せなの？
Well, as a kid, yeah, probably. Like, deep down, I think Ange is probably right here, you know? That this is just a really sad situation overall, but Maria is just a child. She doesn't realize what she's doing.
幸せだから同じ境遇の時、幸せに感じられないエンジェがかわいそう。
Right now, I'm like she was then, just as isolated with no friends. Ange had accepted her isolated reality for what it was, but Maria painted over her isolated reality with a reality of happiness. Ushiromiya Maria took a sad truth and changed it into happiness. That was the only and yet very large difference between me and Maria One-chan. And even though I'm unable to accept it, I'm also jealous of that power.
そうなの。それは力なの。その力があるマリアは幸せになれて、その力がないエンジは幸せになれない。
その力は何なの？
マリアもその力を何と呼ぶかわからなかった。この時点ではね。やがてその正体を教えてもらうの。
Magic.
後に話すよ。後のページで。そして日曜日の深夜、ママは約束通りお土産を持って帰ってきた。
Shit's really gonna get fucked here, I have a feeling.
ただいま。
It's not gonna be good. I can already tell. But no, we'll call it there for this one. I think we made some pretty good progress here. Oh boy, this is rough. I do feel, I think this is probably a rough one for parents of all sorts as well, you know, just seeing this sort of exchange. But I don't know. I mean, even me, this is kind of hard to go through. And really seeing the relationship between Maria and Rosa has always been a little rough. But yeah, we'll call it there. Thank you all for tuning in. I hope you all enjoyed. If you did, be sure to leave a like, subscribe, all that fancy jazz. And I'll see you guys in the next one. Take it easy.